Fikrul the Fanatic is back. This character has been absent for a very long time, but we finally have an update on their whereabouts and the Scorn he commands. Fikrul will return and possibly reunite or meet Uldren Sov, his father. Except things are different now. Crow's lingering plot thread involves Fikrul, and this will have a major part to play in a future story. Today we discuss Fikrul's past, from his early days as a revered Lixni Archon priest to his dramatic transformation into the leader of the Scorn, all leading to the reveal of Fikrul's current whereabouts from the new dungeon. Let's take a look. In Fikrul's early life, he of course was just a normal Elixni, an Archon priest among the House of Wolves, and he was highly revered. Controversy quickly arose when Fikrul had altered ideals. He didn't agree with the overall population on the Great Machine and its powers. He also wasn't really a fan of the Elixni dependence on servitors and ether to survive. Thus, Fikrul was replaced by a new Archon priest and cast out of the Wolves. During the Taken King and War, Fikrul formed a new band of Elixni from dregs, and they began calling themselves the Scorned Barons. This group of Elixni would cause rampages across Seoul, destroying servitors and killing and burning anything that came across their path, particularly around the reef. Petra, Cade 6, and a team were dispatched to capture the Scorned Barons, and they succeeded, throwing them in the prison of elders. All these Scorned Barons were thrown in, but Fikrul managed to elude his captors. Around this same time, Uldren Sov and his corruption also began to spread among the reef. He would visit the House of Kings, eager to obtain leadership of Fallen once more, like he and his sister once had, maybe even form an alliance with the kings. On this adventure, Uldren found Fikrul, who was struggling, and made a wish to save him, a wish that Riven the Ahamkara had heard and granted. Using darkness and ether, dark ether was made and would raise Fikrul as the first Scorn. Eventually, these two, Uldren and Fikrul, were also captured by Cade 6 and thrown in with the other barons of the reef. Thus, the story of Forsaken began, their escape, Cade's death, and our Guardian's mission to hunt them all down.
He didn't feel a thing.
Fikrul is a unique character. He can come back to life almost continuously thanks to dark ether within and the wish granted by Riven. He was strongly devoted to his father, whom had saved him in Uldren, and after Uldren's death would of course seek revenge, continuing the legacy of his scorn and facing the Guardian multiple times. We killed Fikrul in the Forsaken campaign and over in the Hallowed Layer strike, but he kept coming back. In Witch Queen dialogue, it's told to us that Fikrul was driven from the Tangled Shore, and that's all we had. But if you played the new dungeon or read the lore from the new exotic, we get an update on Fikrul and his plan for the Scorn. Fikrul stands on the bridge of a seized ketch. Ravagers keep watch over a handful of Elixni that remain to pilot the vessel. 5 heavily armored Scorn kneel before Fikrul, their heads bowed in reverence. Fikrul steps forward. Dark rumors whisper of the dreaming city. The reef hunts us. The darkness claims us, and our father is not returning. But even without Uldren Sov, new Scorns still rise. Old Scorns still live unseen. Fikrul waits for silence before looking beyond the 5 armored Scorn knights to the greater horde that gathers. He turns and points his staff at the pilots. These Elixni, they speak of Scorn risen on earth, where dead things will hunt them, or darkness claims them. We serve only Scorn. Fikrul raises his staff above his head. We will bring them home, open their minds as I have for you, as I will for all Scorn. The horde gnashes and cheers. Rathil, Malaris, Vrissix, Nymix, Searlox. Ascend, commands Fikrul over the commotion. The 5 armored Scorn stand. You loyal sworn will be my knights. Scorn move from beyond them to present the knights with staves made in the image of their leaders. Go to Earth. Bring brothers and sisters home before darkness claims them. The knights bow. Rathiel, Fikrul places a hand on the center knight. You will lead. Rathiel enters the quarters of the Ketch's dead captain to see Fikrul gazing at the walls of bound tomes filled with Elixni scrawl. Rathiel could not understand the contents of these books, but his father had learned much from them. With time, he would learn to unravel their secrets as well. Father, you called me. We prepare to leave. Fikrul turns, a polished steel case in his lower arms. I have one last gift for you. Fikrul opens the case to display a clean-looking weapon, a sleek bolt-caster. Rathiel could still see its original design, twisted, broken, and refashioned into something stronger as he was. Claimed from kings by wolves, modified, Scorn now, like us. I am honored, Rathiel says, gently lifting the weapon from its case and bowing. Fikrul looks upon his son with pride. I send you to claim kings, as we once did as wolves. Carry our history with you. Claim it. Bring it home. So Fikrul and his Scorn that he leads are on a fallen Ketch. They have some Elixni who pilot the vessel, but that is their current known location. He speaks of the dreaming city, the awoken who hunt them, and the darkness that tries to claim them. Old Scorn live, new ones rise. Fikrul is speaking about the Scorn claimed by the Witness inside Savathun's throne world in the Witch Queen campaign. Fikrul leads Scorn that Riven essentially created, but the Witness took some over, and they can be born in other ways, like in the new dungeon. I made a whole video on the dungeon story, it's a great story by the way, but basically an Ahamkara named Hefend seeks revenge against the fallen House of Kings, who stormed this castle and killed his warlord friend. That warlord wished for vengeance, and the Ahamkara granted it, using taken magics and turning these fallen into Scorn. Like Fikrul's story, this involved dark ether and of course a wish dragon. A pretty nice connection, all these Scorn seem to be tied to Ahamkara. Fikrul aboard his Ketch notices this. Someone tells him that Scorn exist on Earth at this ruined castle. So he appoints 5 knights, including his own son, the first boss in the dungeon, to venture to the castle and claim the Scorn for their own, continue to build their army. It's been years, but we now know what Fikrul is up to. He's alive, he always will be. There will most definitely be a reunion between Fikrul and Crow. Uldren was like a father to Fikrul, and once he figures out he's alive, he may have some feelings. But the thing is, this is not Uldren anymore, this is Crow. Crow has come to learn the terrible things he'd done as Uldren Sov in the past, and has vowed to correct those mistakes, be a better person. He mentions that this thing with Fikrul is the one lingering thread that he must solve.
Every time we go up against the Scorn, I think about how they're cursed too, reanimated and doomed to an existence of pain, all because I wished it.
That's not on you. Riven, as usual, twisted your desire to help someone in need.
Yeah. A lot of help I was, huh? Uldren had history with the House of Kings. That's what led to the Scorn in the first place.
I'm familiar with your history, but the banners here are ancient.
This all feels personal. Uldren links to the Kings, both linked to Fikrul. My one dangling thread.
Step back from yourself. New Scorn Rising drew Fikrul's attention, Kings no less. What if this was a diplomatic envoy? The Witness's Scorn are empty flesh-made weapons, but the Scorn here appear to express crude culture.
Fikrul's followers have always been different, capable of learning. Maybe he saw that potential here.
Then maybe you can still get through to him.
So is there any way to end Fikrul for good? Maybe a wish to an Ahamkara could help us break this spell, like how Riven created them in the first place. Take out Fikrul once and for all, but who knows how many wishes are left to be made at this point. Will Savathun with Riven be the last wish, or will other Ahamkara be born? Episode 2 is titled Revenant. Its cover shows the Scorn, and the definition of the word Revenant is this: a person who has returned, especially supposedly from the dead. So yeah, it definitely seems like it'll be about Fikrul. Crow and Fikrul will likely meet in a dramatic fashion, and who knows where the story will go from there. Crow possibly ending the bond he created long ago as Uldren Sov. Anyway, Guardians, that's all we got for today's video. We talked about this lore in the dungeon video, but I felt like it had to be on its own to describe what's going on with Fikrul and how we can see him return in the future. If you'd like to see some more Destiny lore and mysteries just like this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.